And it's the single thing that I think has to be addressed before anything is our mental health, emotional health, and addiction recovery services that we are.
How would you address the selection process for judges, cops? Because those people's positions are important. They can either decide on, hey, is this guy going to actually go through the justice system, or is this guy or woman? So how would you actually address that? Because meaning like not just cops, judges, but how would you make the selection process for that a bit more suitable for your career? You know what I'm saying?
I'm not sure I understand the question.
Later on,
how it relates to
maybe later on in the
Larsen,
questions.
before you answer,
Yes.
this isn't a question and answer.
Oh, you just talking?
Well, just if you give me a second to finish up, I'm happy to answer questions.
I'll let you answer the question. I want to make sure we stay on point. This isn't a question and answer portion. He's just speaking.
Okay. So
Just give me 2 seconds. I'll answer your question. Just give me a second to finish up.
All right.
Doesn't make a difference.
Okay.
No, it doesn't.
No.
No.
The last part I was just saying is I really think that our mental health, emotional health, addiction recovery services, this is a huge part about what's eating a part of our community, and we really have to address that. These are huge issues, and they really need a lot of investment and a lot of attention. But I think if we don't address those, then the rest of it, we're sort of rotting away the foundation. For over a year, I've been preparing for Knox County Commission, going to meetings. I think met with about 27 different departments in Knox County, learning what a commissioner does, learning what a commissioner doesn't do, understanding the role and the responsibility. And here's the things I won't do as your next county commissioner. I won't promise you things I can't deliver on. I won't answer questions for things that either aren't my job or are things that I don't know about yet and need to get educated on. But I will, as your commissioner, I will listen, I'll be fair, I'll do my best to understand the job, be available, and serve with honesty and integrity. So what I offer is rational, thoughtful, passionate leadership. I hope that's important to you, and I hope that I'll gain your support. And now I'll answer any question you can.
No,
again, assuming it pertains to Knox County Commission.
Yeah, this is like oh, I did. I'm just quick. This is
Sure.
that portion right there. But I did my 3 tours to Iraq, so I'm that veteran from the Marines, whatever. Made it back from all these 3 wars, whatever, 1, 2, and 3. So that's the reason why something becomes real to somebody, they become a believer when they go through something. Whether it's I guess in Maryland, the girl got shot up. She gets her son gets awarded $8 million or whatever. She got some parking tickets. They went in there. The reason I'm saying this because this affects this world all over. We have the children that are going and shooting people. We have the whole mental illness suggestion process, like from the very onset of that up to now. But I'm saying, you're saying you use the word collectively. That's what I'm saying. To me, I'm trying to, I don't care. I've already did my 3 tours, whatever. I've seen the justice system. I don't care. But to help you as far as seeing yourself in that position, I'm you being just like everybody, but see yourself in that position, and just, I don't have to have the answer. You're that person that's going to serve this community. You already went to the schools and everything. I've gone to Tuskegee, a number of places. You know what I'm saying? But this is a question just for you. Just
Okay.
think on, who cares about whoever else is here, but just me to you. How would you address that? This is a question that you don't even answer right now, but how would you address that? It's not really important to me, but as far as to service this community, whether you become higher up, senator, whatever, but how would you tackle that? Because judges, you know what I'm saying, so they're not corrupt.
Well, let me address it this way. There's 100 questions in that one question.
No, I'm just saying, how would you address that selective process? Meaning like the people that are
Well, for the county commission isn't involved with selecting any of those processes. The county commission has a very defined role, and they will never be in those positions. So that's not the job I'm running for, so I can't really answer that question. But when it comes to this community or any other community, here's how I can best address it. You know what the difference between sympathy and empathy is? Sympathy is people look out from the outside and they look in and they go, oh, okay, hope you're doing okay. Empathy is you don't jump in bed with them, you jump into the community with them, you find out the questions and you listen and you be part of that process and you get involved with it to understand what they're going through. And I think that's my approach across whatever community it is. It's not, the looking glass saying, I hope everything's gonna be okay, keep it up. It's to go sit down and listen. It's to go to sit down and have engaging conversations and think about how does this work best for big picture of Knox County. And that's what I think is unique about this role in county commission. There's 11 commissioners. There's 9 that are very specific to a district, very specific to an area of town in which that is their whole focus and constituency. There's 2 people that think about the big picture. And so my hope is if I'm selected, I'll have an opportunity to sit down, understand it, be part of the conversation, and think about it from a big picture perspective. But that particular issue, I won't have a say in that.
You'll get selected, God help you.
Thank
Give me,
you.
uh,
And listen, thank you for your service and your tours.
Actually-
Give me a spin on Midway.
My advice, well, look, this is a area that's long legislated and debated in politics long before I ever came to serve. It's coming online this year, and I think it's quite frankly one of the biggest opportunities for job growth in Knox County. To have ready-made land, to have an investment like this, to have the ability to bring huge commerce and industry and great paying jobs. Everything stems from having a great paying job. It's the basis for great family, great education, great tax base, prosperity. So I'm glad to see it come online. I wasn't part of the conversation before it got here, but now that it's here and we have available land, I'm ready to see some businesses come to Knox County.
I hate to see that he left, because actually the county commission does appoint general sessions judges when there's a vacancy. So to follow up with his question,
Okay.
what process would you go through when there is a general sessions judge vacancy in selecting the best person to be that, to fill that
Sorry, I
position?
wasn't aware of that, so happy to understand. I think with any job and whether it be a judge or whether it be even an appointment to a position or even a council, I think the first thing you look for is credentials in any, just like you would in hiring employees. You look at credentials, what's their background, what's their experience, what's their education, what's their knowledge base for that particular position. I think that's the number one thing. Experience matters. It really does, all the time. And you start with that. Then for the second, you look at their track record, you look at their ability, their work history, you look at maybe the decisions they've made, and then you layer that onto it. And then at the end of the day, you sit down with them and have a conversation, and you see if that's somebody that would represent Knox County. I think the other thing you would do is you would talk to constituents, you would talk to people from those offices or that have been involved in that process, and get a perspective from the community as well as the credentials, and marry those together and make the best decision.
Hubert,
Yes, sir.
What is the role of a county commission?